outstanding road infrastructural development he has attracted to the 3 senatorial districts of the state. Ejime Uduime reporting.
Governor Sharif Oborevwori has commended members of the Ndigbo Cultural Forum, Asaba, for their efforts in contributing meaningfully to the socio-economic growth and development of the state. Governor Oborevwori stated this after receiving an award of excellent service from the Ndigbo Cultural Forum, Asaba, during the celebration of the 10th year anniversary of the body in Asaba. Pere Butu has details of the report.
It was a rich display of culture and brotherhood as Ndigbo sons and daughters from across the River Niger, resident in Asaba, gathered to celebrate their 10th year anniversary under the auspices of the Ndigbo Cultural Forum, Asaba. The governor, represented by the Chief of Staff, Government House, Honorable Johnson Erijo, described the Igbos as hardworking, enterprising, and creative, with significant investments in different sectors of the state's economy over the years. He promised that his administration would continue to partner with the Igbos and other non-indigenous in the governance of the state, adding that some of their members have been appointed into his government because of their valuable contributions. Governor Oborevwori, who affirmed his commitment to run an all-inclusive government, thanked the Igbo community in Asaba for their support before, during, and after the 2023 general elections, and urged them to remain supportive of his more agenda. He acknowledged the efforts of the Ndigbo Cultural Forum Asaba for forging a common front, the purpose of fostering unity, and congratulated the body for its year anniversary.
The more agenda of Governor Sharif Oborevwori is an inclusive government meant for everybody, whether Delta or non-indigenous. You recall that during the electionary period, the Ndigbo were very, very supportive, and we appreciate all the contributions that he made towards our electoral success.
The State Deputy Governor, Sir Monday Oyeme, who was represented by the Deputy Chief of Staff, Government House, Sir Ifeanyi Osakwe, also received an Excellent Service Award where he lauded the Igbos for their business initiative that enhances the growth and development of the state.
Deputy Governor of Delta State, Sir Monday Oyeme, who I came to represent today, has been a pillar of support for this association. And our prayer is that we'll continue to make valuable contribution because we know the importance and the value of Ndigbo in Nigerian politics and in Nigerian economy.
The chairman of the Ndigbo Cultural Forum Asaba, Chief Chinedu Obodo, pledged the commitment of the body to foster unity and purpose among all Igbo sons and daughters from across the River Niger resident in Asaba. He lauded Governor Sharif Oborevwori for his more agenda aimed at advancing the state, adding that the group had partnered with successive governments while it has also assisted in road repairs among others in the state. Chief Obodo said the Igbos in Asaba have contributed meaningfully to the growth and development through their various business enterprises, stressing that the group has acquired a 203 hectare of land in Ede Ogbachuku to build a community of industries, factories, and residential houses.
I'm expecting a lot because we are partnering with government in the development of Asaba and assisting one another as brothers in Asaba.
In a keynote address, Professor Michael Ukonu, head of Mass Communication Department, University of Nigeria, Nsukka, titled Harmonizing Egalitarian Values and Business Politics, the role of Igbo entrepreneurs in strengthening tribal relations with host communities, highlighted the volume of trade of the Igbos in different parts of the country, their Republican lifestyle, business politics, discrimination against the Igbos, and the need for more collaborative efforts with their host. In an interview, some members affirmed that they have made significant contributions to the growth and development of Asaba, noting that the peaceful nature of the town had made it easy for them to invest.
We are trying to let them know the impact we played, the roles we have played in this community, and the environment, the impact, and what we are yet to do That's actually.
Have been contributing in the state. Have been contributing in so many areas. We intend to ensure that we are part of the community development of Delta State, Asaba in particular, where we are situated. We want to extend hands of fellowship with the government, whereby in the rail sector of the economy of these very states, we actually want to take part. And Sheriff has actually done that. He has told us as well that he will do everything humanly possible to make sure that we come in real time in development of Delta State.
We've done a lot of community development projects at the GRA police station. We built a block of offices, and we also refurbished the place. And we have about 220 acres of land in Idogwashi, where we intend to build industries, we intend to build factories and residential edifices.
Igbo has contributed immensely, not just Asaba, but in Delta States. I could say that 40% of the development that we have in Delta State, and especially the capital, is from Ndigbo. Because we believe that anywhere we are and they accommodate us, we see that place as our place. We are comfortable with Asaba.
The ceremony, which had in attendance captains of industries, politicians, businessmen and women, among others, provided a platform for the Igbos to showcase their rich Ogene music. The event, chaired by Engineer Ben Ekweme, a former Commissioner of Works, Imo State, featured the presentation of Excellent Service Award to the State Deputy Governor, Sir Monde Oyeme, represented by the Deputy Chief of Staff, Government House, Sir Ifeanyi Osakwe, and a Unique Leadership Award to the immediate past State Governor, Senator Ifeanyi Okowa, represented by Chief Patrick Uka, as well as the sons and daughters of Igbo extraction. I am Pere Botu reporting.
The State House of Assembly Joint Committee on Rules, Business and Judicial and Special Committee on Bills today submitted this report on the Delta State Offences Court Amendment Bill. Favor Okafor has details.
Submitting his report on the floor of the House, the Chairman, House Committee on Rules, Business and Judiciary, and member representing Ughelli North 2 constituency, Honorable Spencer Uwofa, said the bill, after much scrutiny, recommends that the amendment be made in some sections of the bill. The Speaker then deferred the report to October 8 for the Committee of the whole House. The executive bill seeks to amend the Special Offences Court Law of 2018. The House had earlier screened the Secretary nominee to Sapele Local Government, Mr. Raymond Overa, at the Committee of the whole House as moved by the Deputy Majority Leader, Honorable Festus Oko, and seconded by the member representing Ndokwa West, Honorable Charles Emetulu. Confirming his appointment, the Speaker, the Right Honorable Emomotimi Gwon, charged him to live up to expectation.
The nominee for Sapele Local Government was before us. He was duly presented by the Chief Whip, and he was screened. And so, on that note, I want to recommend him for possible confirmation as Secretary Sapele Local Government Council.
Favor Okafor reporting.
Community leaders have been advised to live peacefully with their neighbors and support the more agenda of Governor Sheriff Oboriwore's administration. The special advisor to the state governor on peace building and conflict resolution, Chief Edwin Uzo, stated this at a joint meeting with representatives of Umusete and Ugulu-Akuko communities in Okwani and Ndokwa West local government area. Henry Onogwa reports.
Chief Uzo said the meeting was a continuation of the lingering land dispute and other issues that emanated from clearing the track road that led to the disputed land. He noted that the Ugulu community accepted to clear the track road to make it accessible for the peace-building team's subsequent visits. Chief Uzo frowned at the two communities' refusal to obey the state government's advice to maintain peace and called on their leaders to advise their youth in order not to face the wrath of the law.
So I beg everybody, let everybody respect himself. If you're a leader in the community, stand for truth. Don't say things that are not right. Don't encourage wrong things. Because these children you're encouraging today, tomorrow they'll come upon you. Because when they want to sell the land, you know, they will go after you. All those are our youths, when they go next one, then I tell them to stop.
Chief Uzo emphasized on the need for the two communities to speak truth on the incident that led to the shootings in the disputed land in order to guide the peace team. The team advised the communities to provide funds in their next meeting and promised to restore peace to both communities.
The Ugolo people volunteered to clear it alone, that we have found roads. The other people accepted. Now, in course of doing that, some people started shooting in the bush. Today, we invited them to know exactly what has happened. The story they are giving today is neither here nor there.
The disputed parties expressed satisfaction to the resolution and promised to maintain peace. Henry Onogwa reporting.
The governing board of the Chartered Institute of Information and Strategy Management, CIISM, has described the Director General of Delta State Orientation and Communications Bureau, Dr. Fred Ogenesere, as a top-class communications strategist and media manager who, over the years, has demonstrated competence and professionalism. The Institute, in a congratulatory message to Dr. Ogenesere, signed by the Registrar and Secretary of the Governing Board, Dr. Adelanke Oyentuke, said the board was proud of Ogenesere's accomplishments as a highly resourceful public servant and distinguished member of the Institute, adding that his roles in government communication and media management has effectively projected the state government in good light. Dr. Oyentuke assured that the Institute will continue to build the capacity of members through regular professional training, master's and professional doctorate degree programs in collaboration with the prestigious liberal bilingual university. He noted that Dr. Ogenesere was one of the best graduating doctorate degree students of the Institute, held in Togo in year 2022, while commending Delta State government for sponsoring the 3 years program, which had impacted meaningfully on Dr. Ogenesere's enviable performance as a senior government communications strategist and media manager. President Bola Tinubu has reiterated his administration's determination to restore the federal government's authority wherever it is under threat, as part of broader efforts to stabilize the Nigerian economy. This disclosure was made by Mr. Tanimu Yakubu, Director General of the Budget Office of the Federation, during commencement of the training for ministries, departments and agencies, MDAs, on preparation of the 2025 budgets, using the Government Integrated Financial Management Information System Budget Preparation Subsystem. Mr. Tanimu Yakubu emphasized President Tinubu's commitment to mobilizing resources to expand the Nigerian economy, focusing on human capital development and economic reforms. He said, the President is dedicated to fostering efficient resource allocation, addressing multidimensional poverty, and enhancing Nigeria's infrastructure, which would reduce costs of doing business and attract investments into the country. Nigeria's economy, he said, is strained by insecurity and limited resources. The Director General stressed that the 2025 budget must reflect strategic decisions to optimize with responsibilities. Sorry, I'll take that again. The Director General stressed that the 2025 budget must reflect strategic decisions to optimize the issues. The federal government has stressed its commitment to fostering stronger international partnerships and deepening relations with member states of the Organization of African, Caribbean and Pacific States, or ACPS, on the sidelines of the 79th session of the United Nations General Assembly. Vice President Kashim Shettima, representing President Bola Tinubu at the ongoing global event, stated this at a high-level OACPS meeting chaired by Angola. The Vice President, who reiterated the importance of solidarity among member states in the face of numerous global challenges, emphasized Nigeria's commitment to the organization's goals while addressing pressing national concerns. He used the opportunity to address Nigeria's recent inclusion on a high-risk jurisdiction list for anti-money laundering concerns and reaffirms Nigeria's support for OACPS initiatives, including the organization's focus on Haiti's ongoing crisis. While acknowledging Kenya's contribution of 400 troops to Haiti, he highlighted Nigeria's historical role in South-South cooperation. Vice President Shettima outlined Nigeria's strategy to leverage its position as Africa's most populous nation to advocate OACPS's interest, promote fair treatment in international financial systems, strengthen ties with both developing and developed nations. Earlier, the Secretary General of OACPS, Georges Rebelo Pinto Chikoti, described Nigeria as a mouthful of the OACPS and an important member state. He noted that the meeting aims to strengthen cooperation with Nigeria and expressed gratitude for the country's significant contributions. The Federal Executive Council, FEC, yesterday approved establishment of the National Citizens Value Brigade across primary and secondary schools in Nigeria to stem declining value and raise role models and ambassadors for the country. Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mr. Mohammed Idris, disclosed this at the end of the council meeting presided over by President Bola Tinubu at the council chamber, Presidential Villa, Abuja. The minister stated that FEC also gave approvals to several changes in the Federal Ministry of Information and National Orientation policies to strengthen the national value system, precisely the institution of National Citizens Value Brigade across basic schools. He said that the council expressed dismay at the gradual erosion of values, especially among the younger ones, a development which, it said, has given rise to all forms of misconduct and acts that are not in tune with Nigeria's traditions and norms. Mr. Idris said FEC also approved inclusion of a national value charter to be made mandatory in basic and post-basic school curricula. This is in addition to approved standardization of national symbols. He explains that this would be a crucial aspect of the topics to be taught in civic education, so well as instituted and adapted among government appointees at the point of entry into the public service. The minister mentioned that the national orientation will be saddled with the responsibilities of the task. Abia State government has finally agreed to commence the payment of the new national minimum wage, saying, however, that the payment will begin in October 2024. The payment of the wage, according to the Commissioner for Information, Mr. O.K. Kanu, will cut across all workers in the state. Mr. Kanu, who was briefing newsmen in Umuahia on the outcome of the State Executive Council meeting, maintained that it has been the position of Governor Alex Oti to ensure that workers in the state go home with a living wage since he assumed office as governor. Speaking on the dispensation of justice, the Information Commissioner asserted that the government would, in 2 weeks' time, begin the construction of ultra-modern court halls in each of the 17 local government areas in the state, pointing out that the aim is to ensure that administration of justice is not impeded in any way. The governor of Osun State, Ademola Adeleke, has approved a reduction in the number of days public servants are required to work each week in a bid to lessen their transportation cost. The governor also announced an extension of palliative payments to public servants for the next 2 months. A statement issued by the governor's spokesperson, Mr. Olawale Rashid, in Osogbo, the Oyo State capital, indicated that the approval was outlined in a circular from the Office of the Head of Service. The statement added that this decision aligns with Governor Adeleke's commitment to the well-being of workers and a response to the current economic situation in the country. The circular further noted that these arrangements exclude those on essential duties, such as medical personnel, security officers, political office holders, and accounting officers. Still to come on the Delta Television main news at 8, President Joe Biden promises to calm Middle East tension. Details of this and more shortly. Stay with us.
Christmas mood, so see you with this and this and this every day now. Christmas with Glow Berekete plus. Now I feel listen to all my favorite jams all night long.
Glow Berekete Plus is here, and every day is now Christmas. Existing Glow customers will get 400% bonus on every recharge and 100 MB data bonus on first recharge of the month. New Glow customers will get 1,000 Naira welcome bonus. To activate, buy a new Glow SIM today or dial *777# for existing Glow customers.
Every day now Christmas with the Glow Berekete Plus.
US President Joe Biden addressed world leaders at the United Nations for the final time today, declaring that Russia's war in Ukraine has failed and that a diplomatic solution between Israel and Lebanon's Hezbollah was still possible. With 4 months left in office, President Biden stepped up to the Green Marble lectern at the United Nations General Assembly, which was in Ukraine, the Gaza Strip, and Sudan, still raging and likely to outclass his presidency, which ends in January. He sought to calm tensions as a nearly year-long war between Israel and Palestinian militants Hamas in the besieged Gaza Strip now threatens to engulf Lebanon, where Israel targeted more than 1,000 Hezbollah targets yesterday. He told the 193-member United Nations General Assembly that the full-scale war was not in anyone's interest, even if the situation has escalated. A diplomatic solution was still possible.
Time for the parties to finalize its terms. Bring the hostages home, ensure security for Israel and Gaza free of Hamas grip, ease the suffering in Gaza, and end this war.
To a round of applause, Mr. Biden called on Israel and Hamas to finalize the terms of Gaza ceasefire and hostage release deal put forward by the United States, Qatar, and Egypt.
We cannot grow weary. We cannot look away. And we will not let up on our support for Ukraine. Not until Ukraine wins a just and durable peace.
Somalia today accused Ethiopia of smuggling weapons amid fears that arms going into the conflict-riven Horn of Africa nation could end up in the hands of Islamist militants. The neighbors traded barbs a day after an Egyptian warship unloaded heavy weaponry in Somalia's capital, Mogadishu. The second shipment seized as security part in August. Landlocked Ethiopia, which has thousands of troops in Somalia to fight Al-Qaeda-linked insurgents, have fallen out with the Mogadishu government over its plan to build a port in the breakaway region of Somaliland in exchange for possible recognition of its sovereignty. This part has drawn Somalia closer to Egypt, which has quarreled with Ethiopia for years over Addis Ababa's construction of a vast hydro dam on the Nile River. Ethiopia's Foreign Affairs Minister Taye Asseselesi said he was concerned arms from external forces would further exacerbate the fragile security and would end up in the hands of terrorists in Somalia. Responding, Somalia's Foreign Minister Ahmed Mualim Fiki said Ethiopia's motivation behind the defamatory statement was its attempt to consider illegal smuggling of weapons across the Somali borders, which are falling into hands of civilians and terrorists. He gave no evidence for the accusation, but added that Ethiopia was trying to divert attention from violations of Somali's sovereignty.
Join our business news desk for happenings in the business sector.
Refinery have reached an agreement for the supply of 12 million barrels of crude oil to the facility in October. The Chief Executive Officer of the Dangote Refinery, Mr. Aliko Dangote, confirmed this development during an interview in US. He said the crude oil supply is part of an ongoing agreement with the federal government to enable the refinery to process crude locally and produce petrol, diesel, and jet fuel for the domestic market. He noted that it will help bring 50 to 60% of the currently non-operational filling station back into service, drastically improving access to fuel across the country. The arrangement falls under Crude Oil for Naira, a strategic partnership between the Dangote Group and the Nigerian government. The Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC, has said the takeoff of Nigeria's Dangote refinery in Nigeria and Dos Bocas refinery in Mexico would affect plants in the United States of America, USA, and Europe. The two countries, in addition to other African countries, were the major market for premium motor spirit, PMS, also known as petrol refined in USA and Europe. Report says Dos Bocas refinery can process about 340,000 barrels per day, thus making Mexico self-sufficient in refined petroleum products. Dangote refinery can process 650,000 barrels per day, showing capacity to meet demand across Nigeria and West African markets. The report, however, stated that the downstream market and related trade dynamics are still strongly influenced by geopolitics. The Naira yesterday depreciated to 1,640 Naira per dollar in the parallel market from 1,650 Naira per dollar on Thursday. Similarly, the Naira depreciated to 1,541 Naira 52 kobo per dollar in the Nigerian Autonomous Foreign Exchange Market, NAFEM. Data from FMDQ showed that the indicative exchange rate for NAFEM fell to 1,541 Naira 52 kobo per dollar from 1,544 Naira 02 kobo per dollar on Thursday, indicating 2 Naira 5 kobo appreciation for the Naira. The volume of dollar traded in the official market declined by 117.7% to $190.57 million traded on Thursday. Consequently, the margin between the parallel market and the NAFEM rate narrowed to 98 Naira 48 kobo per dollar from 105 Naira 98 kobo per dollar on Thursday.
People of Abo Kingdom in Ndokwa East local government area have been called upon to shun acts capable of breaching peace over the kingship tassel in the community. The Deputy Chief of Staff, Government House, Honorable Ifeanyi Osakwe, made the call while addressing protesters from Abo who staged a peaceful protest to Government House, Asaba. Pere Butu has details.
Honorable Osakwe, who commended the people for their peaceful disposition, assured them that the state deputy governor, Sir Monday Oyeme, would look into their request, urging them to follow legitimate means in pushing for their demands. He advised them to route their request through chieftaincy affairs, affirming that issues of crowning of kings deserved peace, order, and due process. While saying that the government would not accept illegitimacy in ascension to any throne, he pledged government readiness towards ensuring that the rightful process was followed without bias.
We have heard everything that you have said. You have not said anything out of line. What I will keep urging everybody, let us maintain the peace. the Deputy Governor's office will look into this matter. I would also urge you to first start the initial process. You know, the process of chieftaincy is in stages. First take this, your protest, to the Traditional Rulers Council in Ndokwa East. This matter has not come to Government House. Your kingship matter has not come to Government House. It is when it comes to Government House that we have a legitimate right to interfere. Anything we do is just to make peace.
The leader of the protesters, Honorable Olisa Imegu, a one-time speaker of the State House of Assembly, said they were in Government House to register their displeasure over the emergence of a new king for Abo Kingdom. Honorable Imegu said that a demand was that due process must be followed in the emergence, chalking, and crowning of a new king. He gave assurance that they would uphold peace in pressing home their demands.
There is a court injunction which even would have led to bloodshed in Abo Kingdom. A court injunction from the High Court of Justice, Asaba, signed by Judge Billy Closey, that everything about selection, nomination processes should be kept on hold until the motion on notice to hear and determine interlocutory motion is heard.
The highlight was the presentation of the protest letter to the Deputy Chief of Staff, Government House, Honorable Ifeanyi Osakwe. I am Pere Botu reporting.
Governor Sheriff Oboribori remains committed to providing platforms for young athletes in the state to showcase their skills, as well as foster a sense of unity and pride among stakeholders and the sports fraternity. The Commissioner for Primary Education, Dr. Kingsley Ashibogo, stated this while briefing members of the Sports Writers Association of Nigeria, SWAN, ahead of the third edition of the Delta State Zenith Bank Headmasters Cup. Jude Abayike reports.
Dr. Kingsley Ashibogo said over the past 5 years, there had been a continued progression among the primary schools as the Headmasters Cup had given talented kids the vista to express themselves on the field of play while exploring several opportunities that the competition provided. The commissioner said this year's edition promised to be exciting as there are several innovations that had been introduced to make the competition a memorable one, especially the consistent monitoring and evaluation of all the matches and centers aimed at ensuring the best players were discovered. They revealed that over 100 public and private schools had registered for this year's edition, with the kickoff taking place at the St. Patrick's College Asaba football pitch on October 3 in the morning, while the final will hold on November 24th at the Stephen Keshi International Stadium, Asaba. Dr. Ashibogo also led Zenith Bank for its continued partnership with the state government towards the discovery of young talents in the state and urged the bank to sustain the tempo while calling on other firms to emulate them.
The sporting activity at the various levels is part of more agenda of this administration led by His Excellency Right Honorable Sheriff Oboribori. It's part of our agenda because we need more peace, we need more unity in the state.
The Chief Business Strategist and Branch Manager Zenith Bank Asaba, Mr. Ifeanyi Atema, who represented Group Managing Director of the bank, Mr. Tony Nyago, assured the state government that it would continue to partner with it towards creating a platform to enable young Deltans excel. Dr. Thomas said this year's Headmasters Cup would be different from the previous editions as more Delta kids were getting involved, hence the competition would be stiffer than before.
As we look forward to this year's edition, it is essential to acknowledge the remarkable milestones achieved by the previous editions of the Headmasters Football Cup. In past competitions, we have witnessed the rise of exceptional youngsters who have gone to represent their schools, districts, and even regional teams. Many players have used this tournament as a springboard to showcase their talents on more prominent platforms, and seeing them flourish has been immensely rewarding.
The Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Primary and Secondary Education, Sir Austin Ohoro, represented by the Director of Finance, Ministry of Secondary Education, Mr. Daniel Akiri, urged the schools to play by the rules, as anyone caught trying to circumvent the rules and regulations of the competition would be sanctioned. Jude Agbeyeke reporting.
The receipt examination for the 2024 Basic Education Certificate Examination BECE in Delta State has been scheduled to hold on Saturday, September 28, 2024. A statement from the Permanent Secretary in the State's Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education, Mr. Augustine Ohoro, on behalf of the Commissioner for Secondary Education, Mrs. Rose Ezewu, said candidates are expected to have concluded their registration for the examination. The statement listed subjects in the receipt examination to include mathematics and English studies. It stated that the receipt examination will hold at the examination centers of the affected candidates, scheduled to commence at 9 a.m. prompt. The statement noted that the Commissioner for Secondary Education and the Permanent Secretary would lead officials of the ministry to monitor the conduct of the examination. That's our news. Here is a thought for the day. Don't let yesterday take up too much of today. Focus on the positives. And just before we go, here are the highlights of the news. The state governor, Right Honorable Sheriff Oboriori, has provided agricultural inputs to 6,020 farmers to boost agricultural production and food security in the state. Governor Oboriori presented the items at the disbursement of agricultural inputs to beneficiaries under the Result Area 2 Fadama Food Security of the Delta Community Action for Resilience and Economic Stimulus, DCARES, at the Event Center, Asaba. Community leaders have been advised to live peacefully with their neighbors and support the more agenda of Governor Sheriff Oboriori's administration. The special advisor to the state governor on peace building and conflict resolution, Chief Edwin Uzo, stated this at a joint meeting with representatives of Umusete and Uguluakoko communities in Okwani and Ndokwa West local government areas. The Federal Executive Council, FEC, yesterday approved the establishment of the National Citizens Value Brigade across primary and secondary schools in Nigeria to stem decline in value and raise role models and ambassadors for the country. And we did report from abroad that U.S. President Joe Biden addressed world leaders at the United Nations for the final time on Tuesday, declaring that Russia's war in Ukraine has failed and that a diplomatic solution between Israel and Lebanon's Hezbollah was still possible. With 4 months left in office, Biden stepped up to the green marbled lectern at the UN General Assembly with wars in Ukraine, the Gaza Strip and Sudan still raging and likely to outlast his presidency, which ends in January. And that's our news. Thank you so much for being a part of it. On behalf of the entire news crew, Joy Ucheyi is my name. Good night.